Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Clayton City Council for Tuesday, January 6th at 7 p.m. And we'll call the meeting to order. And would you please call the roll?
Will do, Vice Mayor. For roll, Councilmember Diaz.
Yes.
Councilmember Trupiano.
I'm here.
Councilmember Tillman.
Here.
Vice Mayor Ania.
I am here.
And Mayor Juan is excused. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. So our next item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and join me in saying the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're going to do a little bit of a change this evening because we have our students here. So public comment will be just in a few minutes along with the consent calendar. And we're going to go to item number 5, which is recognitions and presentations. And first off, we have public school students for doing exemplifying, doing the right thing character for trait of kindness. And I'm going to turn this over to Councilmember Tillman, who will make the presentations.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Nia. Good evening, everybody, and Happy New Year. It is nice to have all of the parents and students from our local elementary and middle school in our attendance tonight, and there are 7 of you that we are going to honor with your certificate for kindness. So we will start with the Mount Diablo Elementary School. If Vice Principal Romo can come up. And just by way of, do we have microphones? Okay, good. A little bit of history for any students out there and parents whose students or children have not received this award. It was started in 2010 by Hank Stratford, who was a council member and mayor for our city, and the local schools, including the high school, all got on board. And so it's a great honor to have everyone here receiving their certificates in person. We used to do it on Zoom during the COVID times, and having everybody back the last couple of years has been great. So without further ado, we will start. And the first one is Aria.
I don't know if Aria is here. I don't know. There, you're right there. Hello, come here, Aria. Come on up here, Aria. It says, Aria consistently demonstrates kindness both inside and outside of the classroom. During class discussion, she listens attentively to others and offers kind feedback. Her respectful manner helps create a classroom atmosphere in which students feel safe to participate. While helping a classmate, Aria provides compliments along with encouragement. Students seek out her help because she listens carefully and responds without judgment. Aria is a positive presence among her peers. On the playground, she models respectful behavior and inclusivity. Aria stands out as a friendly, caring leader. Congratulations.
Congratulations. You want to get a picture with your vice principal? They take one? Okay. Okay. Next up is Gage. Can you guys hear me in this?
All right, Gage. It's coming. Come on up, buddy. All right, Gage. Miss Moore said, Gage is a wonderful example of kindness at MDE. Gage is a kind friend on the playground, asking others to join in his ball game when he notices they do not have anyone to play with. Spreading kindness and setting an example encourages others around him. Gage speaks with kindness both on the playground and in the classroom. He is a kind partner to all members of our first grade classroom community. Gage goes above and beyond, making others feel like they have a friend in our classroom with a caring demeanor and his sweet smile, as you can see. Thank you for spreading kindness at MDE, Gage.
Congratulations.
Wait, Gage, come here. Your mom's taking a picture. Turn and smile.
And parents are free to come up and take a photo if you want to when your child is up here. Helios.
All right, now I have Helios. I saw him over there. Hi, Helios. Helios is in Miss Bever's first grade class, and she said Helios is a great friend to all his classmates. He's always on the lookout for someone to help. May it to be read a word, pick up a pencil, or play in the yard. We're really proud of you. Thank you for being kind. All right, last but not least, I'm going to pass the mic to Miss Lovejoy and invite Eleanor up here. Okay.
It has been so wonderful welcoming Eleanor to kindergarten this year. I have the honor of nominating her for the character trait of kindness. This sweetie is always thinking about how others are feeling. She is both kind in her actions and her words and has a smile to brighten everyone's day. Eleanor has a huge heart and often goes out of her way to show concern for others. She is a problem solver and is always willing to collaborate and share. I'm so happy that she is a part of our MDE and Clayton community.
Thank you, Mount Diablo Elementary staff and students. And up next will be Principal Vicki Wilson from Diablo View Middle School.
Good evening. I get the distinct pleasure to be the principal at Diablo View Middle School. And I have 3 outstanding students that are going to get recognized tonight for kindness. The first one is Joseph McCormick. Congratulations. Joseph was nominated by Miss Ayala, who says Joseph consistently demonstrates kindness through his actions every day. He leads by example by always helping others, staying attentive in class, and going above and beyond to support his teachers whenever needed. Joseph is thoughtful and aware of those around him, making a genuine effort to ensure his peers feel welcomed and included. His positive attitude and compassion help create a classroom environment where everyone feels valued. Joseph is truly deserving of this award. Congratulations. Wait, did Mom want to get a picture? Next is Harris Hadi. Congratulations, Harris. Harris was nominated by Miss Parker, and this is what she has to say. Harris is just one of those kids who is so happy-go-lucky. He is the first to take care of other students who may be struggling academically or socially, and he always is there to offer help or guidance where needed. His demeanor consistently shows kindness, with always a smile on his face and a fantastic attitude that is infectious. And last but not least is Miss Ruby Rainsberg.
Ruby, did you run track with us years ago? Yeah. Wow. Wow. Congratulations. She was this little the last time I saw her.
Ruby was nominated by Miss Pelosi, who says Ruby always has a smile on her face and is happy to help whoever needs it. She is always thoughtful of others and always has something positive to say every day. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you all again for attending tonight. And if you can indulge us, please, I'm going to turn it back over to our mayor, but we do have some presentations for our local police officers, and it'll be great if the students can stay for that presentation too. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Tillman. Next on our agenda is the City of Clayton Police Department Medal and Awards, and I'm going to let Chief. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not on. Chief Crone will be coming up to make a presentation.
Well, good evening, Vice Mayor, council members, community, and staff. It's my honor tonight to present our annual awards as recognized by our policy. And these are to recognize exceptional efforts by our police officers in the course of their duties. As I'm sure most of you know, the work that they do every day is exceptional. However, there are times and circumstances that even rise above that. And this is our opportunity to honor them publicly, first before the council and also through the community. So we'll get right to it. We have a few to go through. So if I can have Officer Mitch Strosky come forward, please. And Mitch, I'm going to put you on the hot seat. I'm going to have you stand right there so you can face both the council and the public, which I know you love being in front of everybody. This incident also is honoring of our former Officer Kelsey Wiggins, who unfortunately is not able to be here with us this evening. She's working up in Oregon. So, but these awards or commendations that she'll be receiving, she's actually receiving a couple, will be sent to her as well with a letter and placed in her personnel file. So this is a commendation for life-preserving efforts, medical aid. On June 3rd, 1925. Jeez. Wow. Wow. Yeah, well. All right. Let's try this again. All right. 94. Oof. That hurts. All right. Try this again. On June 3rd, 2025. There we go. At approximately 15:26 hours, Officer Mitchell Strosky and Officer Kelsey Wiggins, while on patrol, responded to a traffic collision reported in the city of Concord at Atchison Stage Road in Pine Hollow. It had been reported that a truck and trailer had collided with a fence. Due to their proximity, Officer Strosky and Wiggins responded and were the first to arrive on scene. Upon arrival, the officers located the driver slumped over the wheel, non-responsive and exhibiting labored breathing. Without hesitation, Officer Strosky and Officer Wiggins removed the driver from the vehicle and immediately began rendering medical aid and ongoing assessment. The officers maintained care and monitoring until medical personnel and the Concord Police Department officers arrived and assumed responsibility for treatment. Their sustained efforts contributed directly to the driver regaining consciousness. The prompt, professional, and decisive actions of Officer Mitchell Strosky and Officer Kelsey Wiggins exemplify the highest standards of the law enforcement profession and reflect the spirit of interagency cooperation and support. For these exemplary life-preserving efforts, Officer Mitchell Strosky and Officer Kelsey Wiggins are hereby awarded Clayton Police Department's Commendation for Life-Preserving Efforts, Medical Aid. And Officer Strosky will be receiving a commendation, which will also be going in his personnel file. Officer Strosky, you get to stay up here. Commendation for life-preserving efforts, Narcan. On April 7th, 2025, at approximately 14:03 hours, Officer Mitchell Strosky was dispatched to the area of El Camino Drive, City of Clayton, for a reported fentanyl overdose. Upon arrival, he located an adult male who was unconscious and exhibiting clear signs of opioid overdose. Officer Strosky immediately administered one dose of intranasal naloxone, or Narcan. The victim rapidly regained consciousness and resumed normal breathing. Officer Strosky continued to monitor the victim until fire department medics arrived and assumed medical care. Officer Mitchell Strosky's decisive, professional, and appropriate response exemplifies the highest standards of the Clayton Police Department and the law enforcement profession. For these exemplary actions, Officer Mitchell Strosky is hereby awarded the Clayton Police Department Commendation for Life-Preserving Efforts, Narcan. right, I'm going to have Sergeant Ania, Richard Ania, please join Officer Strosky, because you get to stay up here for one more. Commendation for life-preserving efforts, Narcan. On June 3rd, 2025, at approximately 10:21 hours, officers were dispatched to the creek area near Southbrook Drive, City of Clayton, for a report of a person overdosing. Officer Strosky located a female victim in the creek who was unconscious and showing clear signs of opioid overdose. Sergeant Ania was instrumental in providing the doses of Narcan to Officer Strosky due to the challenging terrain. Officer Strosky administered multiple doses of intranasal naloxone and performed sternum rubs. After sustained efforts, the victim regained consciousness. The officers maintained care until fire department medics arrived and assumed medical treatment. The coordinated, decisive, and professional actions of Officer Mitchell Strosky and Sergeant Richard Ania exemplify the highest standards of the Clayton Police Department and the law enforcement profession. For those exemplary life-preserving efforts, Officer Mitchell Strosky and Sergeant Richard Ania are hereby awarded Clayton Police Department Commendation for Life-Preserving Efforts, Narcan. All right, Officer Strosky, you can be excused. Yeah, you're okay. Sergeant Ania, however, you get to stay. So these first recognitions were for commendations. We're now moving into major commendations and medals. This is for major commendation, life-saving medal. This also would include Officer Kelsey Wiggins, who's unable to join us, as I stated previously. The Clayton Police Department Life-Saving Medal is awarded to members who personally performed life-sustaining actions result in the saving of a human life. Such actions must be confirmed by medical personnel or by the member's supervisor as life-sustaining or life-extending measures without which an apparent loss of life would have resulted. On January 5th, 2025, at approximately 12:44 hours, Sergeant Richard Ania and Officer Kelsey Wiggins responded to a critical medical emergency in the area of Clayton Road and Mitchell Canyon Road, City of Clayton. They were dispatched to a vehicle in which an elderly female driver was unconscious and without a pulse, as reported by her husband, a passenger in the vehicle. Upon arrival, Sergeant Ania and Officer Wiggins immediately removed the victim from the vehicle and initiated CPR. They continued uninterrupted until fire department medical personnel arrived and assumed patient care. The victim was transported to a medical facility where she was successfully revived. Medical personnel confirmed the officer sustained CPR was the critical life-sustaining intervention that prevented the victim's death. The victim subsequently forwarded written correspondence to the department, expressing her profound gratitude and credited Sergeant Ania and Officer Wiggins with saving her life. The direct, decisive, and professional actions of Sergeant Richard Ania and Officer Kelsey Wiggins fully satisfy the criteria of the life-saving medal. Their conduct exemplifies the highest traditions of the law enforcement profession and reflects great credit upon themselves and the Clayton Police Department. Accordingly, Sergeant Richard Ania, First Medal, and Officer Kelsey Wiggins, First Medal, are hereby awarded by the Clayton Police Department for the life-saving medal. Thank you. This also includes some hardware for you. Running out of room here. Sergeant Anita, you get to stay up here. If I can please have Officer Tanner Weiss join Sergeant Richard Anita. This also is Major Commendation Life-Saving Medal with the same criteria. On September 6, 2025, at approximately 17:46 hours, Sergeant Richard Anita and Officer Tanner Weiss responded to a medical emergency in the area of Kinston Drive, City of Clayton. They were dispatched to report of an elderly male who was unconscious, not breathing, and appeared to have suffered a heart attack. Upon arrival, Sergeant Anita and Officer Weiss immediately initiated life-saving measures. They applied an AED and commenced CPR. The officers continued uninterrupted CPR until the fire department medical personnel arrived and assumed patient care. The victim was transported to the medical facility where he was successfully revived. Medical personnel confirmed that the officers' rapid deployment of the AED and sustained CPR were critical life-saving interventions that directly prevented the victim's death. The victim's wife subsequently forwarded written correspondence to the officers expressing profound gratitude and crediting Sergeant Anita and Officer Weiss with saving her husband's life. The decisive and professional actions of Sergeant Richard Anita and Officer Tanner Weiss fully satisfy the criteria of the life-saving medal and exemplify the highest traditions of law enforcement profession. Accordingly, Sergeant Richard Anita, second medal, and Officer Tanner Weiss, first medal, are hereby awarded by the Clayton Police Department. You get more hardware, Rich. All right, let's see if I can build this. Council and public, that concludes our presentations. Thank you for your time. I'm very proud to be able to stand here before you and communicate some of these accomplishments by these fine officers. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chief Crone, and congratulations again from the council to our fine police officers for our city.
I have a couple of
Yes,
comments.
go ahead,
These are
Councilmember Diaz.
very notable awards that the officers and the sergeants receive, but I want to mention also for the period of December 14th through the 21st was a monumental event for the Jewish community of Clayton, celebrating menorah lighting at the Corral, and of course culminating on the 21st of December at the Grove Park for a major Hanukkah and menorah lighting event. Specifically, our officers, including Officer Mitch Polcewick, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Sergeant Anita, Officer Tanner Weiss, and then finally Alex Swatko, who came out in presence for those major events that went for 8 straight days. And it was at a time in the world when there was a lot of controversy going on relative to the Jewish community. And we want to specifically thank the officers and the chief for presenting their presence there at these events. And I know that Claude Hoffitz and Rabbi Kesselman specifically thanked them and wanted to recognize them in addition to what they received tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Like I said, you're welcome to stay if you want for the rest of our meeting, or if you don't want to stay, have a good evening. Okay, we'll continue with our meeting. We're going back up to item number 3, which is public comment on non-agendized items. And I have two cards here. The first one is Larry, and he would like to speak on a non-agendized items. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tonight. Tonight, I want to talk a little bit about the selection of our current mayor and vice mayor. I was a little disappointed this year in what had happened. But then again, the Unfab 4 group have come to live up to all my expectations. The current selection, I think, shows that the Unfab 4 group is now on a journey for political retribution for the people that they don't like or they disapprove with. And I can say that, meaning that coming from me, Holly Tillman has been looked over again. If we look at her qualifications versus the selection that was made this year, Holly has vastly greater qualifications than the selection was made. So again, I'm going to go back to the Unfab 4 group. Political retribution is what their motto is this year. Our current vice mayor now has difficulty seeing the forest for the trees. He can't see what options are out there. He sometimes wants to go and do this, choose this, but why? He doesn't even know what the problem is. The other thing he likes to do is he doesn't want to explore all options. He says this is the option we should be doing without regards to looking at the costs and benefits of exploring any other options. That is not a good vice mayor. Third thing is, he just recently posted some things which I considered and a few other people considered to be extremely unprofessional things that he said about Congressman Mark DeSaulnier, the great Congressman Mark DeSaulnier. That should not be tolerated by a vice mayor in Clayton. That is unacceptable for anybody to do that, make public comments like that that are unprofessional. Nobody should be doing that. But then again, we're talking about the Unfab 4, which are currently living up to all my expectations. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next card is from Jim Killoran. You may come up.
Last week, I encountered a continuous stream of middle school children that dangerously blew through the stop sign at Easley and Center Street, which is between CVS and the Ed's Mudville Grill restaurant. An eyewitness came forward and indicated this group recklessly continued down Center Street, with one of them crashing into a car in front of the post office. She spoke with the boy, and he said, "It's a game we play to see if we can cross a road in front of a car before they move forward from stopping at the stop sign." Of course, the kids were recording the video of their antics. I alerted Clayton Police and the management of Diablo View Middle School about this dangerous new TikTok trend. Also, I advised the Clayton community through a Nextdoor posting. Based on the feedback from Nextdoor neighbors, the police, and school management, in my opinion, we have a significant e-bike problem with adolescents in Clayton. It's clear the root cause of this problem is middle school parents buying e-bikes for use by their children. Parents can purchase an e-bike that goes up to 22 miles per hour for less than $1,000, or a scooter that goes up to 15 miles per hour for less than $400. One of my favorite quotes from my mom was, "If you buy firecrackers, they will light it." These Diablo View parents whom have bought e-bikes for the middle school kids have essentially placed M80 fireworks ready to explode in our neighborhoods. If you were to ask these parents what's more dangerous, a motorcycle or an e-bike, I bet they would answer a motorcycle is more dangerous to Clayton residents. The fact is, a motorcycle is safer as it has a suite of performance and safety features, including better steering, braking, the ability to handle road imperfections, and most importantly, the use of a motorcycle requires a driver's license and having insurance. Some folks in our community want to delineate kids' driving behaviors between good apples and bad apples. Instead, our community should focus about keeping all of our kids whole. Based upon my lifespan observations, I believe all adolescent boys between the ages of 10 and 15 will occasionally speed and drive recklessly. Some will speed for the thrill, others will do it through herd mentality, and finally because they're running late to school or getting home. A main challenge with these e-bikes is the immediate torque and the inability of a child to self-correct when required. This acceleration plays a huge factor in accidents. I'm asking the Council to schedule an agenda item to discuss an adolescent's use of e-bikes in our community and to vote on a proclamation that the use of an e-bike in Clayton should require an individual to have a driver's license. In addition, the city should consider if they should work with state and county government representatives to seek an exemption from state law so we can legally require driver's license for the use of an e-bike in Clayton. Thank you, Council.
Thank you very much. Any other person to speak on a non-agenda item? Okay, we'll close the public comment. Go to item number 4, which is our consent agenda. And we have 4 items on the consent. Does any council member have any questions about any of those agenda consent items? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'd like to pull item C.
C?
Were you going to pull it too?
I was just going to jump in,
Manager?
yep.
Okay, that's right. Thank you for doing that. Okay, let's vote then on item A, B, and D. Is there a motion for those 3?
Do we need public comment?
Oh, yes, we do. Does anyone have any public comment on our consent calendar, which is approving the December 16th minutes, approving the December 2nd, 2025 minutes, and also approving a contract with CSG Consultants for design engineering services for our 2026 pavement of rehabilitation program. And also item C is considering approval of our proposed 2026 City Council meeting calendar. Any comment on those 4 items? Okay, I don't see any. So is there a motion for A, B, and D?
Do we want to do a motion for those
For
3?
just wait
or
for
do
all
we
of it?
want to discuss C?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about number C then. Number C is our proposed city meeting calendar. Who'd like to start?
Our city manager.
Oh, he would. All right. You may start.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Yeah, there's one change in the meeting calendar. We did not cancel the meeting for National Night Out, and that meeting date, does anybody have that handy? Because I do not.
August 4th.
August 4th. Thank you. So that August 4th will be canceled in lieu of National Night Out. That's the only change. Thank you.
That you have, okay. Does any other council member have any comments on the other canceled meetings?
You got to use your microphone.
Does any other council member have any comment on the changes for other council meetings?
I do.
Go ahead.
I don't want to add any more. I want to take some off,
Okay.
is what I would like to discuss. It just seems like we've got a lot of meetings. I don't want to meet just to meet, obviously, if we have to have business. And I know historically, at least since I was elected, we had canceled the Tuesday after Labor Day for whatever reason. I think it was because school had just gotten back in or had just returned. People might be on vacation. But it seems like we're doing this a lot more often after a 3-day weekend, which seems a bit odd to me that we're doing it for all of them. So I'm looking at the January 20th, which is later this month, the one after President's Day, which is February 17th, the July 21, if you can explain for the public why we're canceling that one. I do know that a lot of cities will take a break during the summer, which I love because I do want to go on vacation as well. So if we could just talk about that just a little bit. Thank you.
So the January 17th, we have a couple council members that will be attending a training up in Sacramento. The February cancellation is for city managers conferences the week prior. So prepping the materials to get out would be a little difficult while we are not in the office.
Okay.
We do have a lot of meetings. My goal and working with the mayor this year is making sure that we are not wasting council time, public time, and staff time creating meetings that we don't need to have. So if we have two abbreviated calendars back to back, we will cancel a meeting, combine those, and make one more robust meeting so that we're being more judicious with our time.
Okay. And then I noticed that the agenda item mentioned, at least in the packet, other meeting schedules, but they're not in here. That's not something that we're trying to...
That should have been removed.
Thank you. Okay,
Yes.
good. So on the Tuesday, the 20th, there are a couple of council members you said that are attending a training. Will we not have a quorum?
I didn't ask the other three members.
I'll be here. Is there anybody else who...
Well, I'm going to the League of Cal Cities training. I think you may also be a Councilmember Diaz, but we're not leaving till the 21st.
Yeah.
But when you and I talked about it today, you said we didn't really have anything pressing for the 20th.
That's the other piece of it too, is
Right.
managing the calendar, and there's nothing on that date that had to. So with those two items combined, we canceled.
Right, and our session is starting at 9 a.m. the next morning, so I know we're leaving super early.
Yeah.
And Monday's also a holiday, right? Because it's MLK.
No, I understand
Yeah,
that, but
so-
I still don't think that we need to cancel them after every 3-day weekend is my point. So if the point is there's
I agree.
nothing pressing, then I'm okay with canceling it. Canceling it because people have to leave early the next morning, I've done it several times. That's not a reason I would cancel it. So I appreciate you adding that there's nothing pressing to do.
Yeah.
That, to me, should be the reason why we're canceling a meeting.
Yeah, and
Okay, or we don't have a quorum.
yeah, and the 3-day weekends were, as you can see from the schedule, it's not the reason for some of those cancellations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other comments? Thank you for explaining. I'll entertain a motion to approve all items on our consent calendar.
With the correction on C. Okay.
With that
On the
correction.
calendar. I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar items with the change to the August 4th council meeting.
And I'll second. Is there some wrong?
Okay, it's been moved in second for the approval.
Yep, I
Please.
will take roll.
Yes.
Councilmember Diaz?
Yes.
Councilmember Trupiano?
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman?
Aye.
And Vice Mayor Ania?
Yes,
Motion carries 4-0.
thank you. Next on our agenda item is number 6, which is city manager's report.
I'm going to
5C.
interrupt briefly,
5C.
Oh, 5C, I'm sorry.
and there is a public
5C.
comment.
Pardon? There's a comment, okay. 5C, a presentation on preparing for landscape and maintenance district renewal and 1% sales tax increase in our ballot measure. And
What, don't
Your
we,
microphone is not on.
I'm sorry, it's not on. What'd you say?
I was going to say, do we want to take the public comment before we actually see the presentation? Shouldn't
No,
it
we
should
should
be
do
the-
our presentation. You're right.
Your presentation.
We have a presentation, and
Dennis,
who's
is that
making it?
you?
Dennis is making our presentation. Thank you.
It is the presentation. All right.
Dennis is the presentation.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time. We thought it was important to continue the progress we'd been making on discussing both the renewal of the landscape and maintenance district, as well as the discussion that was held during the fall around the sales tax ballot measures. And so just providing you with a bit of additional information and kind of the path forward. So these are the topics we're going to cover. Some of the rules of the road, want to just go over those. Talking about really the timelines and the kind of the major milestones we're going to need to hit in order to successfully put these items onto the ballot for the November 2026 election. Then looking at what some of the variables are and figuring out a way in which we can set aside some time for the council to discuss those options. And then really kind of the roles for residents. I think that's another important piece that we talked to. So a couple things to begin to think about are really what are the rules of the road, if you will, about what can you do and what can you not do. And I think this is a really important conversation to have. I suspect we'll do it a few more times just so we continue to make the reminders available to both the public as well as to the City Council. But in really kind of a short, more concise way, really what we want to talk about the things for the City Council, for individual council members, residents, city staff, and then really how do we make that happen. So in terms of the City Council, their main role is to adopt a resolution or an ordinance calling for the election, as well as then setting the ballot language, setting for what particular election date, and then the tax details. So that's going to be the major action you're going to take. And we'll bring those to you. We'll do it in some cases through a discussion. Some cases we'll then go back and write the ordinance, for example, in order to match what you would like on the ballot language. So that's going to be really the process there. City Council is also going to have the opportunity to identify a member of the council if they would like, or somebody else, to author an argument in support of both measures, either of the measures, and also to do a rebuttal for anybody who might put in a ballot argument against the ballot measure. So you'd be able to do the rebuttal. And there's some timelines associated with that we'll go over later. And the other important consideration, one of the things you can't do, would be you can't use public funds or any resources to campaign for or against the measure. So that becomes a real critical thing, that's not allowed. For individual council members, so different from your role as a body, for you as individuals, you may provide objective information, and you may also campaign for or against the ballot measure as long as you're not using city resources. So you still have your First Amendment rights, all those kinds of things to be able to express yourself and your opinions, but you can't use city resources to do that. So that's the important thing as individuals, right?
May I ask you a quick question right there? Can you use your title, or do you do it as a resident of Clayton?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think, and I know Mala's online, and maybe Mala wants to weigh in on that. About using their title. It's a great question.
And the reason why I ask is if we have public social media pages that have our title in it and we post something on there, that's our opinion, can we do that?
Yeah, good question.
Okay.
That is a good question, and I will follow up with you on that as we progress.
Yeah. Never had that question before. Never even thought about it. That's a great question. So thanks, and we'll look forward to that response from our city attorney. From city staff's perspective, we can only provide factual, objective information to the public or to the council in discussing any of the ballot measures. And we would have to do that, including at those public hearings where we're preparing the ordinance or actually approving the ballot language in the ordinance for submission for the ballot. So our role is very limited only exclusively to providing factual, objective information for you and for the public's consideration and public comment.
And I do have one quick question around that. So as a city, can we hold or host informational sessions like town hall meetings in order to answer questions?
So yes, we may, and we can do those education sessions, and we can have those as town hall. And again, it would be the factual, objective information that needs to be conveyed at those.
Got it. But you could put those on social media, promoting people to come to those to ask.
Correct.
questions.
Okay, as long as it's, excuse me, education based on facts and not trying to sway decision.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
And I think that's a real key thing, right? Talking about objective information versus advocacy for a specific outcome, which is really the campaigning piece.
So just to follow up on that, for us and for the city, will we have some bullet points prepared on what is factual information that we could be sharing?
Yeah, our long-term plan is to set our own webpage providing the data-driven information, the reason why this is happening, what is the outcome, where the money goes, those types of things. And we can produce educational materials to share with folks.
Okay.
We just can't advocate for or against.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
The role for residents then is really exercising their full First Amendment rights to speak out, support, inform their neighbors, all those pieces. And then the other piece is just recognizing that their main role is the vote in November or before with a mailed-in ballot. And so reminding folks that the general tax, the general sales tax, is going to require a 50% plus one voter approval. I might want to back up and just mention that at the same time, in order to put that as a general tax, it'll require a supermajority of this council, a 4/5 vote from this council to have that approved to be put on the ballot. So it's a supermajority of the council to put a general tax onto the ballot, with requiring a 50% plus one vote from the public. And then just to contrast that with the special tax, which is the LMD tax is considered a special tax, that requires 2/3 vote of the public and a simple majority of this council. Okay, so just so you have that in your frame. Yes.
Define supermajority and simple majority for the council.
3/5 versus 4/5.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And little box number 5 was there by mistake. Means nothing. You didn't see the guy behind the curtain. Nothing to see here. Okay. So timeline. So this is a general timeline where the major actions over the next several months that the council will be having to take into consideration. On February the 3rd, council will really talk about the option for if we want to do polling at all. That will be one possibility. But we're really going to talk about some of these variables that could go into the ballot. For example, do we want to make any kind of changes to the LMD or anything else? Since that's a renewal, we have this opportunity. The council provided guidance to staff at the end of the year saying, hey, we think that adding a 10% increase to the base year for the LMD might be a good idea. But we want to confirm that again and make sure that before we start writing ordinances and writing ballot language, that everything's as you would like it. So that's the discussion we're planning on the 3rd, as well as bringing back a much more detailed calendar than this. So one with far more specificity around those things. And that'll include an integration with the county elections department's calendar when they need things, and then how that aligns with the city council meetings that you'll be having. So that'll be what we're going to do in February. I'm just put this on here just so you have context. In March, we're going to bring back budget revisions for 26-27, which our goal there is to show where we are both on the revenue side as well as on the expenditure side, and to make budget revisions to try to balance the 26-27 budget. Remember, we were out of balance by about $700,000 at the adoption in June of last year. So we'll be working on that in March, which I think informs this process generally around the ballot measures. That's why I included it there. So the April meeting will really kind of be focused on how does that education piece happen, and so what's that process? Councilmember Trupiano mentioned, possibility of town halls. This is where that might fit in, where we could be providing that objective information. Surprisingly or not, not everybody watches these meetings, and even though they didn't hear all of the things we've said at the various meetings since August around this issue, they may need another opportunity to hear those and receive, ask questions and receive answers, which is something we can't do in this setting as easily as doing a back and forth with the public. So a town hall type meeting could facilitate that. But we would in April talk about what does that look like? What's the timing for that? How would we do that? So that's the conversation in April.
Can I just add one thing? Mm-hmm. I did ask our city manager today who makes up the community outreach team. And that would be volunteers from the community, correct? People that came forward to say, I want to help.
So I think this is the community outreach here we're really talking about is really in the form of having these town halls to begin to do that outreach.
Okay.
Recognizing that people are going to receive objective information, then they can do that with that what they want. I think we're not as prepared to be in the position where we're actually creating teams to go out and campaign for that. That would be, from a council's perspective, that would be stepping or tap dancing on a line.
No, not for us, but I mean members of the community. Will there be a community volunteer team?
That's going to be up to the community.
Okay.
That's up to the community, right?
Okay.
So what we're going to do is provide information, factual information, that all community members could use. But we're not going to be in the position of saying who a campaign committee is. That wouldn't,
Unless
that would not
people
fit
raise
under
their
the law.
hand.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
yeah.
On that, can I just ask a quick question on that same point? If you didn't call them a campaign committee and you use the people who are members of the TLC, what's the difference?
Well.
And the reason why I'm asking that is we literally have a body of people who are, what? Oh, that's Mala. It was like, your lips aren't moving. Who was the lady who's talking?
Sorry, I just thought I would step in and answer that, Dennis, if that's all right.
Yes.
The commissioners, as members of the public, can be a campaign committee, but not as commissioners using city resources. So those individuals could do that work if they chose to do it, but they wouldn't be able to use city resources.
So what constitutes city resources? No staff time?
No staff time, no city emails, computers, print jobs, that sort of thing are the common resources.
Okay. While I have you, Mala, could there be a joint meeting? I'm just working this all out in my head right now. Could there be a joint meeting of the TLC with the council as even an open town hall type meeting so that information can be shared as that group has been working, most of them have been working together for 2 years, some are new, just so that they can share their thoughts and input on ideas and ways to move this forward, or even give more information to the council as we as individuals try to go out to either, I don't want to use the word campaign, but educate the community for or against extending the LMD. Can you talk us through how that works?
Yeah, I think you'll want to create a bright line of who's campaigning versus who is providing information. And so city staff will be helpful, as the city manager noted, in providing informational talking points and probably a landing site on the webpage. And then if individual commissioners or council members want to privately meet and talk about how to campaign for the measures, they could do so.
Okay. I'm going to have more questions. Keep going. Sorry, Dennis.
Okay,
Thanks, Mala.
okay. No, don't apologize. So May 5th, we're going to look there at really coming up with the ballot options and decisions by the council. So this will really lead to a specific discussion around what do we need, what needs to happen, what do we want to have in the ballot language itself. So again, we're trying to get as much of this done early so we're not rushed, so we're not leaving things out. And we're also showing to the public sooner what it is that the city council is proposing in terms of both the renewal of the LMD as well as with the sales tax measure. Then in back-to-back meetings, I've put them as two separate meetings, I think just for clarity's sake, in June and then again in July. They are back-to-back meetings, you'll note, but they would have one meeting we would deal with the general tax, the sales tax increase, and at the other meeting we would deal with the LMD renewal. There's no magic. They could flip if we wanted to do them in the other order. There's nothing magical about having one go before the other in my brain. But just knowing that we would talk about them separately and discreetly, just because there might be different questions and the public might want to show up for those. And I also think trying to wordsmith 2 different ballot measures at one meeting will probably make us all a little kooky. So I think we'd rather avoid, maybe it's just me, but I think maybe we would want to handle them separately. I think that would be kind of a tedious process. So that's why I split it over the 2 meetings. And then in August is, the last day is August 7th to put the ballot measure, to place the measure on the ballot by submitting that to the County Elections Department. And on the 10th, they actually go through and they assign the little letter like Measure V or Measure A or whatever that is. So they actually do that fairly quickly in the process so that jurisdictions can begin to use that letter designation in their informational pieces, okay? And so it's done fairly quickly. We get noticed pretty much right away. At the end of September, the voter's guide is mailed out to the registered voters in the city. Keep in mind that will include not only the text of the ordinance that is passed by the council that enabling the tax or the renewal of the LMD, but it'll also include those arguments for and against. It'll include those as well. There's a separate deadline. I didn't put it in here, but there is a deadline in August for the letters of support and letter of opposition, and then they give you a 10-day period to write the rebuttals for the opposing opinion, and so that stretches that timeline out. But you can imagine the amount of work it's going to take to lay out and get that thing printed and sent out. So there's a lot of work that county elections does in August and September in order to make that happen. And then last, but certainly not least, is November 3rd's election day, and making sure that everybody gets to return and express their opinion at the polls. So, all right, just a little bit more ballot measure prep.
Yeah, I do have questions relative to your timeline here.
Yeah.
Who's going to prepare the language for the bill?
Staff will draft it and we'll bring it to the council, and the council will ultimately approve it. So if we need to make edits in that, we'll make edits in that. Key thing to think, 75 words.
Got it.
I like it.
It's not long. It gets really hard.
Keep it simple.
Short and sweet.
I think, so there are some, you can make it too simple. There are some expressed pieces, and we'll go over these as we prepare for that. Some components that you have to state specifically in the measure language, in the ballot measure, but so you end up, writing the first draft is probably double the number of words you could possibly use.
Right, but we have history with the LMD, which had been successful in past years. And there was also one year, I believe, that there was a failure. It didn't make it wasn't approved. So we have some history that we can look at and use it as a good benchmark for going forward. The 1%, that's some new territory. So
we're not above stealing ballot language from other cities that have been successful either, and wordsmithing it for us.
Yes, yeah. We have resources, in other words, in order to do that. So I think, good, excellent points, and it does take some work from my own experience to get these things down to the limits that were allowed and whatnot. So that'll be fun if you like that kind of thing. So just a little bit more, looking at what is it, all the things that cities normally look at in order to be successful at getting a tax measure approved. I think these are kind of a list of what goes into the preparation in order to put something on the ballot. The good news is we've done some of this stuff. I think we've done the financial analysis. You sure don't want to see that JAWS chart anymore that we've had because we're kind of all done with that. But I think we've done that financial analysis, and then we've done the consideration of a general tax or a special tax. So we've identified what those are. The work you did earlier this fall cemented those. Then there are some other variables to consider. Whether or not you want to do any kind of polling, and it really is optional at this point. And I think for even some of the reasons you've mentioned here tonight is that we've been successful at getting these passed in past years. And we've also been unsuccessful for other things as well, and we learn from those pieces. And so whether or not hiring a polling firm to do research at this point, it's not something that I would recommend as a staff person at this point, but it is your absolute policy call. If you think there's some other expertise that could be gained from hiring a pollster, I think that's certainly available to you, but it's going to be more helpful sooner rather than later. So that would be just something why we have it to talk about on the February meeting.
If I can jump in real quick. On the polling piece, you're looking at about $35,000 to $45,000 to do a poll. I've been a part of these 1% measures, or sales tax measures, I should say, in the past. What we did with polling was to determine what the appetite was for the community at a half a cent, a 1%. Were they interested in a sunset on the tax? Those kind of variable decisions that you have the opportunity to make. The last one I worked on 2 years ago, when we polled, the poll told us what we were asking for was polling at 50% with a 3 to 4% margin of error. It passed at 71%. So it wasn't even horseshoes. So I say that just to say, if we want to move forward with this tax measure, we know it's something that we need. Is polling going to do something different? So something to consider.
And I think in Clayton, we don't talk about horseshoes. We talk about bocces. Or cornhole, maybe.
Well played.
Yeah, there we go. And so that's the thing on polling. I think the other variables is who are the stakeholders and what's the level of community engagement? What does that look like in terms of those education sessions? So we need to do some more kind of detailing that out over the next couple of months. The financial scenario and impact modeling, one of the things that I think we need to do going forward is okay, now let's pretend like these both pass. What does that do? What does that give us, in Q1, Q2, Q3, after those taxes go into effect? What does that look like, and how does that affect where we are in the budget process and future budgets? So relative to expenses, and begin to even talk a little bit more about how are we going to spend that money? Because you can't start having that conversation too soon about how that works. Again, all in open session, all here in the council with opportunities for public comment. There could be an opportunity for doing some ballot language stress testing. So beginning to think through, this isn't polling, but this is maybe using some folks to go out there and begin to say, do you like this language better than you like that language about talking about the kinds of services that the taxes will support? So I think that's one of the stress testing is the idea of, are we going to making sure we don't say something that we're going to regret, right? That's the idea of stress testing. And then last couple thoughts on variables is just the analysis of competing local and state measures. Recognizing that there is kind of a cumulative impact for voters and for folks in this economy, and we realize that there's that, and so making sure we've got our eyes wide open about anything else that might be happening at the county level or at the state level that would also be into some kind of economic impacts that might impact our decisions on the ballot. And then the last variable to consider is some kind of tax budgeting oversight committee. This is something we have already built into the LMD and to look as an oversight. Do we want to do that around the 1%? Who does that? Are they one body that's providing oversight to both the LMD as well as to the spending of the 1%? That's a policy call and a variable to think through. If we're going to establish something, we want to make sure we're establishing the right thing, that it's going to work and work for the needs of the community to have oversight over both the general tax spending or general tax revenue as well as the special tax revenue.
Dennis, would that be the Financial Sustainability Committee, possibly?
It could be.
Okay.
What we'll do as staff is kind of compile options and then bring them back to council for discussion, and then kind of like we did with what we wanted to do with the tax measure, and whittle that down to see where we land.
Okay.
If I may add, I think that's a good recommendation, because that's what I would strongly support, is the Financial Sustainability Committee. You have a reservoir there of some good financial minds that could offer some positive input on this.
All right. So just one last slide here just to talk about kind of roles for residents. You know, obviously there's the formal electoral process and making sure they vote. They can also participate by being a poll worker. Not above, you know, suggesting that people ought to go out and help their community vote by being a poll worker. It's a long day, but I think an important day. And I know a lot of people who have done that in the past receive a lot of gratification for that. It makes it more personal. It's part of the community. But beyond that, the whole idea of community advocacy, like how does that happen? Because all the rest of us are being so objective in our information that we're providing. But community advocacy could take some really different ways, different forms. So organizing an independent campaign committee might be one possibility. Again, this is not the council's purview, but this is what the community themselves can do for themselves, right? So they might want to organize an independent campaign committee. They can volunteer to go out and campaign, knock on doors, do those kinds of things to reach out to their neighbors. The informational and educator roles, there might be other people that can communicate this information way better than any of us. And so would we want to, you know, ask them to step in to be that voice and be the one who's providing that information and advocacy for a specific outcome for the ballot measures. Community organizing forums or town halls, we've talked about those a couple times tonight. And then how does the oversight committee participation work in terms of the advocacy? You know, if we need to do that, if we're going to have an oversight committee, what would be their role in advocating for that? So just some thoughts in general about community advocacy. So some of the next steps, we'll come back on the 3rd with that detailed calendar, and it'll show dates for council meetings, and it'll show the dates for all of the deadlines from the county elections department, other things to take into consideration. We'll come back in March then with the 26-27 budget revisions, just so you get a sense about where we're going financially for the next year and how that might inform this process. And then on April 7th, coming back and really talking about the community outreach process and what does that look like in greater detail. And with that, I don't have any other slides, but I'm open and available for questions if you so wish.
Comments from the council? Okay, seeing none. I have one speaker's card as we go to public comment. Aaron Bennett, I'm sorry. Thank you for waiting.
My pleasure. Thank you. As you said, I'm Erin Bennett, Vice Mayor and City Council members. I did submit this via public comment via the official channels, so I think that will be forwarded to you as well. I'm here tonight as an engaged community member, as well as the 2-term chair of the Trails and Landscape Committee, or the TLC. I'm here to express concern about how the committee's role is currently being utilized for the Landscape Maintenance District, or LMD, especially as the renewal is being considered for the upcoming ballot. As written, the TLC's required responsibilities are largely procedural and financial, preparing the annual report, reviewing staff-prepared budgets, selecting a chair and vice chair, and reviewing or modifying draft minutes. These duties are important, but they are only the floor, not the ceiling. The real value of the TLC lies in the mays. The committee may make recommendations on conditions, operations, projects, and prioritization of landscaping, trails, and open space. We may offer suggestions on care, maintenance, repair, replacement, and improvement of the district's assets and infrastructure, of which we do not have a list. These mays are not incidental. They are the real reason the committee exists. The mays are why we volunteered. The TLC is made up of community members who deeply care about Clayton's trails and landscapes. We walk them, use them, hear feedback from our neighbors every day. We volunteer our time because we want to contribute insights from the community and help advance the city's strategic goals, which are number 2 for the community parks and recreation and number 5 for the LMD. goals that were created by the City Council based on community survey feedback. Limiting the TLC to narrow financial oversight, that narrow financial oversight role undercuts that purpose. What the LMD needs right now is more strategic thinking, not less, more informed oversight, more long-range prioritization, and more connection between budget decisions and on-the-ground outcomes. I respectfully ask the Council to reaffirm and re-engage the TLC in an advisory role as a strategic partner, one that brings community perspective, forward-looking recommendations, and thoughtful oversight to how we care for Clayton's landscapes and trails. The community's trails and landscaping are a priority all the time, not only when you're campaigning. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wants to speak on this item that may have not completed a speaker's card? Okay, well, thank you. Our next item, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, let me close public comment. Yeah, let me close public comment and come back to the council. Good item.
No action.
Do you need,
no action.
you
Right,
don't
no
need
action
any action
required.
from us,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, right,
Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
No
Our
actions
next-
required.
Our next item is the reports. Item 6A, City Manager. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. A couple just quick things. Hope everybody had a great holiday season and Happy New Year to everyone. We are currently moving forward and looking forward to a great 2026. As you just saw, we have some work ahead of us and also getting ready for our event schedule this year. So some exciting things coming up. A couple updates. I mentioned one of you that I met with today that I feel like I've been interviewing people for the last year and a half, because I have, and that continues. We are looking for a community services coordinator to take over the role of all of our events and our facility rental program. We extended an offer to someone today. Let's cross our fingers and hope that they sign that wonderful offer and they come to work with us. That would be phenomenal. Public Works Director is open ongoing recruitment. We are scheduling interviews currently for this week and next week to see if we can land a Public Works Director, so excited about that. We have a brand new staff member. Her name's Marlene. I'm not going to try to say her last name because I will destroy it. She is our community services leader. If you guys remember Janessa, she's the new Janessa, and she started on Monday. We will bring her to a future meeting and introduce all of you. Our active police recruitment is still going on with 2 candidates. They're still going through the background, medical, psych, all the fun stuff. It takes quite a while to get through the police officer process. So we're looking forward to a new officer starting. As you heard the chief say, Officer Wiggins moved on to Oregon. So we're looking to replace that position and then also create a list for future positions that we expect we will have. And finally, Maintenance Worker 1, we have a vacancy in that area since the promotion of Zach to senior. Dennis will be spending his full day tomorrow, 8 hours, interviewing 7 candidates, which is fantastic. So hopefully we'll fill that position and be back up to full staffed, plus our seasonals. So with that, I will turn it back over to the Vice Mayor.
Before we do that, can I ask a quick question?
Absolutely.
Can either you or Dennis give a brief update on, since there is that vacancy, how Public Works is working? And I'm only asking you to do that because I know that there are several residents who don't understand exactly how all of that works with getting work done around the city. I know some of them are out there cleaning ditches themselves, which is not very safe. So can you just share how that's working right now?
Yeah. So Dennis is co-leading the maintenance department, and he's doing a great job. Meeting weekly with staff, setting the goals for the next week, assigning the work directly to staff, making sure things are getting accomplished. If there are things that people see, if there is a storm drain that may be clogged, if there is a tree that may have come down, just please notify, call the admin number. That information will get to Dennis, myself, Doesn't mean that we're going to be able to do it tomorrow, but we will get it on the schedule. And if it's a health and safety hazard, we will get it tomorrow. So just keep I'll get on my soapbox for a minute. Thanks. One of the things that's very frustrating is when we see next door posts and we see things on Facebook where people are complaining about this tree or this pothole or this whatever. That doesn't help us. We don't monitor those. We need the information sent to us directly so that we can schedule appropriately with our staff. And sometimes we may not have the equipment, much like we had the sinkhole over on the street and we had the tree root over here. We have to do a contract, and that takes time to put that together and get somebody out here to do that work. So notifying us helps us immensely.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
I do. As Chris and I discussed today, I'm starting to receive very limited approval of the maintenance, particularly trimming of trees and the medians and all that are getting positive response from a very small but very vocal part of the community that's letting us know, or letting me know particularly, and it's noticeable. So it's working. Thank you.
I was just thinking along those lines. I was driving on Oakhurst, Marsh Creek Road, and I see that contract tree service. What is it, Brightview? I saw like 5 or 6 people today cleaning up the side behind Easley Drive. That looks really nice. It looks really good.
And Chris, how many seasonal workers are we up to now? Do we know, Dennis?
4? Are you signaling 4 or 5? 3. Oh, 3. Oh, I was hoping. Yeah, I think we're at 3 now. They're, as seasonal workers are going to do, and it's kind of as designed, they're going to come and go. And I think that's one of the pieces. Now we're getting correction. 5. Okay. I thought with everybody, but it is designed. It is designed to be a flexible staffing, really to make up for what we had at workers.com. And so it really is that kind of form that it's based on their schedule. Many of the folks that are working for us as seasonals have other jobs. And so this is, supplementing their income, helping them. It's their second job in many cases, or third. And so it really does flex quite a bit.
Okay. But it's also as we need them too.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Because it's not year round.
And this is kind of our low slow because of the wet weather and the short days. As spring approaches, you will see more.
Yeah, and just to build on that too, strategically, we're beginning to work more closely with our contractors. I mean, to your point about Brightview and our other folks, you're going to see a lot more coordinated efforts where they're working together on these projects, which will be more efficient overall. It lessens the impacts to the public as well, with road closures in particular, to do that. One of the things I'll just preview we're going to be doing here pretty shortly is we're going to start steam treatment on the medians on both here along Clayton Road and wherever we can on Oakhurst as well. The steam treatments by the weed abatement company will basically cook the weeds and the seeds in the ground without having to spray herbicide. And so we're going to test this on the medians just because they're also dangerous to maintain with workers. And the steam treatment, I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you have weeds in your pavers like I do on my driveway, I go out and I get a whole kettle of hot water, boiling hot water. I go there and pour that on the weeds, and the weeds are dead within about an hour and a half. They get all crispy crittered. You basically cook them. It'll smell a little bit around town, but it'll be a good benefit for the community overall to not have the herbicides, just the big steam cleaning.
What do you mean it'll smell?
It's just going to smell like cooked broccoli.
Like steamed broccoli, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, not a bad
Thank you for the warning.
Yeah, not like other things, but like steamed broccoli, yeah.
And also, just staying on that topic for a minute and for the benefit of some members of the TLC community that are here, can you provide us updates on what's happening with the 2 FEMA locations? I know we've received the money from FEMA, and because those portions of the trail, it's been like December 2022 and I think January 2023. Are there any updates?
Not yet. We've transitioned from our prior city engineer. We have an RFP that just closed, so we'll have to review those, get an engineer contract, and then pass that project off to that person.
Okay, so it'll be for the design? Correct. And then the construction?
Correct.
Of
Yep.
repairing
Exactly.
those. Okay, thanks.
Thank you for your report. That's in the agenda. I have my finger on it. It's not on. So let's go to item number 7, which is...
Hold it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You need to look around and see who's speaking. There was an item left off of my report, and that is on December 13th. I attended as well the VFW Post 1525 Reads Across America. And I looked at my record that I sent to Ms. Miguel, and I failed to put it on there, so I want to correct the record.
Okay, let me look around. Okay, we're ready to go to item number 7, which is a public hearing. And this public hearing is to approve resolution 01-2026 for the City of Council of the City of Clayton, authorizing hopefully our final revision of resolution 06-2023 and a finding of supporting the city housing element update and introducing an ordinance amending our municipal code to add subsection 17.36.7079 to chapter 17.36. And who is going to be doing this? Oh.
Are we opening the public hearing now?
And we'll open it.
After I make a brief presentation.
Okay.
So good evening, Vice Mayor and council members and members of the community. Staff is bringing before you as you mentioned, a resolution and an ordinance, and recommends that the council open a public hearing to receive both written and spoken testimony prior to making a decision. With regards to comments received, it's been advertised for a couple weeks. We have not received any written comments. Both of these items really boils down to wording. The resolution is actually proposing an amendment to a resolution that was passed back in January of 2003, which adopted the housing element update. And we have been working with the community development
HCD.
Housing and Community Development. Thank you very much. And they are requesting that we put additional language to shine more of a light on the available areas for development in the city of Clayton, and that these areas that have been identified by the city of Clayton are not impeded for future development due to maybe current conditions, such as pre-existing construction. Maybe has an old home on the property, and the property owner is, let it be known that they're interested in maybe redeveloping or, doing something else with the property. And so putting that language and then also identifying the, pointing out those identified properties in the language in the resolution. And then the ordinance also supports HCD's requests, as it is apparently a requirement of state law that multifamily housing that supports at least 20% affordable housing be allowed by right. This needs to be in our code, so we are placing that in the general section, as you mentioned, Title 1736. This did go to the Planning Commission 2 weeks ago on December 23rd and passed 4-0 with 1 abstention. And I'm available if you have any questions.
How close do you think we are getting with the powers that be up in Sacramento on approval of this?
Really hoping this will do it.
Thank you.
Well, and they have provided the language correct, for the revision
They
on
pointed
the
us in the
resolution.
direction of the language.
Yeah. And so we approved the housing element in January 2023. We did the rezoning, and this should be the final version.
We thought we were done.
Stop saying that. Every
But
time we
they
say it,
We thought we were done, but they,
I think maybe that's what's wrong is we keep saying that.
Don't jinx us.
Right. But we're hopeful that this is,
And the ordinance is just to align with state law, so that's
Got it.
the language change there.
okay, thank you.
And another comment that I have, I want to thank the city manager for keeping an eye on the consulting expenses that related to this thing. And it's been pointed out, this has been going on and on and on, and that hasn't stopped the cash register. So anyway, thank you very much.
I just have a quick question, and sorry, because I didn't think of this earlier, but how many sites are there that fall in this category for them to have identified it? So been in our housing element for 2 cycles. Do we know?
and there is a figure that also is in the housing element. I believe it's 11.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but I did look at it, and I believe it's 11 sites.
Okay. Didn't mean to put you guys on the spot. I just thought of it right now. Thank you.
Any other comments? Is there any public comment on this? I don't have any cards.
Yeah, open the public hearing.
Public comments? I got to watch that red light. If there's any public comments, can we speak now? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment and bring it back to our council members for further discussion or a motion.
I don't have any other discussion, so I'll make a motion to not jinx us.
Yeah.
But
Approve as is.
but to, hold on, I got to go back to the agenda item. Do I have to read the whole thing? To approve the
as written.
resolution?
I'll second.
Okay, then we will take roll.
It's been moved in second
Yes,
to
sir.
approve this. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, motion and second, and the vote on the resolution, and then vote again on the ordinance.
Oh, okay. Do we do them separately? Or can we do it all
please.
together? Okay, no problem. Okay.
Okay, so this is specifically for the resolution, correct? Okay. Councilmember Diaz?
Yes.
Councilmember Trupiano?
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ania?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay.
Then I will make a motion to approve the ordinance.
And I'll second that.
Just to
Okay.
clarify, that would
And
be
we'll
to
take roll
introduce
again.
the ordinance?
Councilmember Diaz?
Yes.
Councilmember Trupiano?
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ania?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
And then do we close the public hearing?
I did.
Oh, you closed. Okay.
I did it for once. Our last item, item number 8 is action item, and we're going to discuss and approve our committee assignments that we all have. And I'll open it up for our council to talk about them.
My recommendation is if you wouldn't mind, Vice Mayor, to read each one and who's assigned and just go down the list. Yeah.
These are the assignments provided by Mayor Juan for the 2026 year. Association of Bay Area Governments, also known as ABAG, that's going to be Councilmember Tillman, and the alternate is Councilmember Diaz. The Budget Audit Standing Committee is Mayor Juan and Councilmember Trupiano. The Contra Costa Transit Authority, also known as CCTA, Councilmember Diaz, and the alternate is Councilmember Tillman. The Citizens Corps Council, also known as CERT, is Councilmember Diaz and Vice Mayor Ania. The cities.
May I just ask a question? Because it's different than what I'm looking at in the packet. So is that an updated version?
Yeah, I got it in my plastic packet.
Oh, in your plastic packet?
Yeah, I got it tonight. Is this the correct one?
The one in your packet was not
Here,
2026.
Here you go.
Okay. Oh, maybe it's this one.
There was
Oh,
a
is
version
it-
in the packet
oh,
that was
okay.
2025, and then you were
Got
given
it.
a
The
separate
packet
loose
was
leaf for
last year to
2026.
They
compare.
both say 2026, but
I'm reading the right one, right?
You are.
I am?
If
Okay,
I,
thank you.
he's reading the right one. What we were given on when we got the agenda was 2025. What we
Yes.
got when we got here tonight is 2026, and only because I got it from the back table.
got it. Okay. That's where I was confused. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. That's okay. So the next is the city-sponsored Special Events Committee, and that is Councilmember Trupiano and Mayor Juan. Clayton Library Foundation liaison is Councilmember Trupiano. Alternate is Councilmember Tillman. The Community Park Sports Field Committee has been discontinued. The Contra Costa Water District liaison is Councilmember Diaz. Alternate is Vice Mayor Ania. The Do the Right Thing, which we heard tonight, is Councilmember Tillman, and the alternate is Councilmember Trupiano. The East Bay Division League of California Cities is Councilmember Tillman, who is now the first vice president of the division, and the alternate is Vice Mayor Ania. The East Contra Costa County Habitat Conservancy is Councilmember Trupiano, and the alternate is Councilmember Tillman. Interview committees for the Planning Commission, that's the entire council. Interview committees for trails and landscaping, that's the entire council. The Mayor's Conference for Contra Costa County is the entire council. The Mount Diablo School District liaison is Councilmember Tillman and Vice Mayor Ania. The Trails and Landscape Committee liaison is Councilmember Tillman and Vice Mayor Ania. And the Transportation Partnership and Cooperation, which is TransPac, is Vice Mayor Ania and Councilmember Diaz. And the last one is the Unsung Heroes, and that's the entire council. So that's our committee list for 2026. This is an action item, so if there's no questions for the council, we can bring it for a vote after we do public comment. Any public comment on our committee
Hold
list?
a minute. Wait a minute.
Hold on.
I just wanted to ask Vice Mayor Diaz, do you want to be the primary for ABAG? Like to flip-flop?
I haven't thought that because I wasn't thinking about getting engaged. Yes, I want to consider it.
Okay.
I am not prepared to make a decision tonight.
Okay.
Why? Because you're so involved with the league?
No, it used to historically be the mayor and the vice mayor were the people who went to ABAG. And then that changed a couple years ago. And it's you and I are on there again for 2 years in a row. I went last year. I'm happy to go. It's only one meeting a year, which is usually in May or June. But I think it should either go to the mayor and vice mayor, or I'm willing to swap with you. So at least it's not just me doing it and give you the opportunity to go.
I'll pass.
Okay. So then do you have any interest in going?
Not really. Let's
Okay.
let Mayor Juan make a decision on that.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. It's fine with me. Yeah.
Any other comments? All right, it's open for public comment on our council assignments. Seeing none, I'll cancel our public comment, complete it, close it. And we need to take a vote on this. I take it it's an action item. So
I think so.
I'm open to motions.
Oops.
I'll make a motion to accept the City Council committee assignments for 2026 as so noted in the packet this evening.
I'll second.
Okay?
Please call the vote.
And we'll call the vote. Councilmember Tillman.
Aye.
Councilmember Trupiano.
Yes.
Councilmember Diaz.
Abstain.
Okay. Vice Mayor Ania.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries 3-1. Or 3-0, sorry.
All right, that completes action item number 8. Action item number 9 is adjournment. If the council has nothing further, we will adjourn to our next council meeting, which will be on February 3rd. Thank you for attending this evening. Meeting's adjourned.